Okay, I'm live and I'm ready. I am Lisa, for those of you who I have not had the pleasure of meeting yet, and welcome to the Solstice meditation, whether you're actually listening to this a few nights before the solstice or whether you're replaying it on the days that move up to the solstice. Welcome. I started doing winter solstice as well as summer solstice workshops the better part of 10 years ago, and I really love the summer solstice. I like what it does for me emotionally, but I haven't historically done real well in the winter time. I'm a northerner, but for some reason it's that winter and fall just never really agreed with me. And I noticed as I was getting a little older, it got worse and worse. So a good number of years ago, I decided to very deliberately go into the season and really making a point of looking for joy and having adventures and keeping myself busy. And it wasn't until about 5 or 6 years ago that I thought maybe I'm getting this wrong. And it was right after a friend had killed herself at Christmas time that a bunch of friends and I sat around and said, we really have to do better for each other. So for myself, for my friends, I switched and really started looking at the sadness and the pain and really sitting in the dark, enjoying the shorter days, sitting in the darkness nights and just calling it what it is. So it's a seasonal piece. I prefer to think of it as, that seed that gets planted, and how long does a seed sit in the earth? And somehow the roots know to grow down and the plant knows to grow up. But the magic is really happening in those darkest hours before the plant ever feels the real sunlight on its leaves, before the air ever actually touches the plant itself. So welcome to this honoring the darkness times. I will say there's a lot of cello, and every time I play cello, somebody says, that's just way too melancholy. I play cello music because it reminds me of grounding. Yes, it may get a little melancholy, but I do it so we can really get in touch with that earth. So if there's a bit of a change of mind you can get right there, perhaps move into the earthing and the grounding and really becoming the seed and planting yourself here for the next 30 minutes. Without further ado, go ahead and get comfortable. If you're sitting up and that's great for you, I would recommend that you just lean back. If it's more comfortable for you to lie down, all of that's good. If you doze in the middle of it, that's good too. But go ahead and take a nice deep breath. Exhale with a bit of a sigh, if you would. Do 2 more of those and just make sure you can hear your breath. The breath is clear coming out of your body. Reposition if it's not. Clear your throat if you need to. And then just listen. A poem by Havez, and this is written to go along with the Iranian tradition of Yalda night, the longest night in the northern hemisphere. Leave the familiar for a while. Let your senses and bodies stretch out like a welcomed season onto the meadow and the shores and the hills. Open up to the roof. Make a new watermark on your excitement and love. Like a blooming night flower, bestow your vital fragrance of happiness and giving upon our intimate assembly. Change rooms in your mind for a day. All the hemispheres in existence lie beside an equator in your heart. Give yourself in your 1,000 other forms as you mount the hidden tide and travel back home. All the hemispheres in heaven are sitting around a fire, chatting, while stitching themselves together into the great circle inside of you. Find your breath. Inhale. Exhale with that sigh. And as you're ready, begin to breathe in through your nose and perhaps out through an imaginary straw. You're using that straw to get in touch with your breath, finding something specific about your breath to look at. Know that as you do that, the exhales will elongate a little bit. And with each exhale, your heart rate stays down just a little bit. So with that elongation comes ease for the physical heart. Watch your breath, perhaps feeling it, perhaps hearing it, but trusting that your body is coming to a place of rest and ease, and rest. Think of the earth that you sit upon, and with each exhale, let yourself press down into the ground just a little bit more, whether that's your seat on a chair, your body on a mattress, yourself on the floor. You can call that grounding, becoming one with the earth. But know that you're in an environment that you've perhaps chosen, that's secure, that's safe for the next 30 minutes, and let that hold you. And as you're ready, you'll probably quite naturally begin breathing all through your nose. If that's not comfortable for you, breathe in a way that works. Just come to rest and a place of ease. Perhaps your eyes can stay closed. I'll still be here with you. And focus yet again on your breath. And gently and really quite gradually encourage your breath to become deeper. It's a little bit bigger in. Perhaps feel each new breath cause the belly to rise. Feeling each new breath fill your chest. And then releasing the breath slowly and steadily. Another minute of those deeper breaths. Perhaps fueling your body with air in some oxygen for the journey. Preparing. And now, in your mind's eye, you are walking at dusk, alone in a dark forest. There's no moon, and you go slowly. The pale stones of your path are barely visible in the glimmering light of the cold stars above. And you may go slowly because you are tired and worried. Your heart is heavy with old sorrows. You know that in the new year that lies ahead, there will be new challenges, new perils, new uncertainties, and new griefs to face. Even if you are contented with your own life right now, you cannot help knowing that many others are not so fortunate. At this time of year, it is very easy to be sad. The longest night of the year is coming. We are but a few eves away from this winter solstice. Our days are short and often gray. The sun is hidden behind dark clouds. With your mind's eye still walking, not far away from the dark forest, people scurry to and fro in a blaze of colored lights, bent under heavy burdens of their own and others' expectations, struggling to keep up traditions that may be nothing more than dry husks now. Traditions that maybe are long empty of their meaning they once held. How much of true joy is there in the frantic buying and selling, and all the anxious bustle of the season, in the quarantine, in the lockdown, in the isolation? Yet, even when you turn away from that busyness and remind yourself that this is the season when we celebrate the rebirth of light, and for some of us, the birth of a child who grew up to spend his life bringing the good news of love and forgiveness, you may still be sad. For in our lives, or in the lives of many of our sisters and brothers in this place, in this town, in this country, and around the world, love, forgiveness, stability, and peace may be in short supply. Yet the season seems to demand that we be joyful. To be a sorrowful heart, that demand itself is a burden, another invitation to despair. You are walking, and gradually the bleak beauty of the winter woods begins to soothe your heart. The crisp air, spiced with the odors of cedar and fir, refreshes you. The dimness of restful to your tired eyes. The path under your feet is level and easy to follow. There is no sound but your slow footfalls and faint rustlings as the forest creatures settle into their nests. Now, through a gap in the dark trunks of the trees that line your path, you catch a glimpse of light in the distance. It appears very small and weak, and it vanishes with the next bend in the path. But soon it reappears, and it grows even larger and brighter as you draw near to it. We walk, and we walk, and the light is there. We walk and walk. The light is there. After a few more bends in the path, you see that the light comes from a fire in a small stone fire pit. It's in the center of a clearing. And as you come closer, you see someone standing beside the fire, someone wrapped in a long, dark cloak. You feel a tiny thrill of fear at the idea of meeting a stranger at night in the woods. You go very quietly now. But you also feel a faint sense of anticipation. Come to the edge of the clearing and hesitate, but the cloaked figure turns from the fire to look at you, and you see that their face is a twin to your own. They look at you with a grave but kindly expression and beckon to you to draw near to the fire. You begin to walk. Walk into the clearing, and come to stand beside them, warming your cold hands, gazing into the flames. You do not speak, and neither do they. But after a moment, their hand gently reaches to touch your shoulder. You turn, and at the sight of the compassion in their face, you begin to weep. They put their strong arms around you and murmur into your ear, "Go ahead and weep, my sister. Go ahead and weep, my brother. Here and now, it is safe to lay down the burden of forced cheerfulness and let yourself be sad. Let yourself give up the weary struggle to hold your head above the bitter tide of sorrow. Let it wash over you now, yes, right over your head. Acknowledge all your griefs and hurts of the past year, and maybe many years past. Mourn for your dead. Honor your departed friends. Recognize and cry for your vanished hopes. Give in. Give in completely to your pain. You have nothing to fear from the darkness, they say, for she is our mother. She is the mother of light. Again, they say, you have nothing to fear from the darkness, for she is our mother. She is the mother of the light. Surrender now to the dark, my sisters and brothers. Lay your weary head on my shoulder and let your healing tears flow. Forget all your duties, your burdens for a while. For nothing is required of you in this time and place, but to wait and to rest and to grieve. The light cannot be reborn until the darkness is complete. So you are held as you mourn, as you tell over the litany of all your losses and griefs and defeats, as you show the scars and the half-healed wounds of old battles, as you tell all your fears for the future, even the most secret and humiliating fears that you have never told anyone. Take as long as you need for the telling. Another poem by Havez called Faithful Lover. The moon came to me last night with a sweet question. She said, "The sun has been my faithful lover for millions of years. Whenever I offer my body to him, brilliant light pours from his heart. Thousands then notice my happiness and delight in pointing toward my beauty. Havez, is it true that our destiny is to turn into light itself? And I replied, Dear Moon, now that your love is maturing, we need to sit together, close like this, more often, so I might instruct you how to become who you are. In the days following the solstice, the daylight will grow longer, not by leaps and bounds, but by minutes, by seconds. Each day will bring a slight increase in daylight, so that by spring our world will erupt into bloom and warmth and new life everywhere. Think about this. All of spring's possibility is right here, right now, in the very depths of the longest, darkest night of the year. Spring comes not as revolution, but as evolutions whose origins are in the longest night. On this winter solstice, know that something wonderful is happening all around us. It is happening quietly. It is happening without fanfare. In the midst of the holiday bustle, the solstice comes without bows and ribbons or any effort on our part. Yet a change is taking place. It is happening quietly and without fanfare. Yet, change is taking place within you. Spirit of winter rest, help us to enjoy your peace in this quiet place. Remind us to pause during this season. Grant us awareness. Keep our gratitude fresh each day. the songs in our heart be blessings and insights to us and to others. And may compassion always shine forth from the depths of our hearts. Continue to feel your breath. Hear your breath. And when the darkness is complete and you are at peace with it, feel free to open your eyes and move about. Or as always, if you have time to stay at rest and stay in peace, continue to do so for as long as you can. Thanks for joining me. Have a wonderful season.